everyone, it's Keela here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video. As some of you know, I recently attended the Australian Soaping and Candle Making Conference held just outside of Melbourne in Victoria. Now, being a physical guest there, we were all given a box full of goodies, and there were some Australian suppliers that did donate items into this box. Now, one of the items came from Megan, who runs Scents and Suds. Now, Scents and Suds specialise in bringing in Brambleberry and Nurture soap fragrances and a couple of the others, and she's got this amazing range of fragrance, and she generously put in a 50ml sample bottle into everyone's little mystery boxes that we got. And this is the one I kind of got. Originally, I had Rose Quartz in my box, which is a lovely fragrance, but I just felt it was too similar to a lot of the others I already have. And when I smelt this one, Sunshine Poppies, I absolutely fell in love with it and went and found a spare bottle of the Sunshine Poppies, and I swapped it over. Absolutely love this fragrance. Now, what I really love about the packaging from Scents and Suds, it clearly shows which company that the fragrance oil originally came from, and then she has got all the information needed for the oil as well, about whether it accelerates, discolors, how much vanilla, whether to use it in soap, candles, and that sort of thing. Now, it has noted on here that it does accelerate. We have to keep in mind this is dependent upon people's recipes. Different fatty acid profiles are going to react differently to fragrances, but I am going to keep this in mind when we create this soap. So we're going to go make Sunshine Poppies, and first of all, I'm going to pipe some poppies to go on the top of this soap. Now, I'm also only making my little half loaf mold because I only have enough to make my little 9-bar mold of soaps. So let's go make Sunshine Poppies. So our soap is now set up ready for piping. We've got the dark yellow here in a tip with a Wilton 103 petal tip, and then this sort of dark greenish color that I've made up here. This is a Wilton 226 a closed star tip, and it's just a very little one, and I'm going to use that to do the centers of my flowers. I have my little flower nail, and I have got some greaseproof paper here. I'm going to start by putting just a little bit of soap onto my flower nail, and I'm going to pick up a piece of paper. Now, with my piping tip, so I've got the wider end at the bottom and the narrow bit up at the top. Let's see if we can get that to focus there. I'm going to put the narrow bit to the outside of my petal, and I'm just going to do a very simple 5-petal flower. So I'm going to start squeezing and pushing up into a little C just to make a little petal there. These are very similar to a lot of the other flowers that I have done, but I am actually going to do these as a double layer. So we've got our first layer on there, and then I'm just going to tip my piping bag back just a little bit, and I'm just going to make some smaller petals in the middle like so. I might only get 4 of these smaller ones. And then we're going to grab our darker color here, and I'm just going to pop a little bit in the middle, and that is going to be our little poppy. This is probably still a little bit soft, but it will firm up as we do some more. So I don't have enough left on here, so I'm going to put just a little bit more soap. If you don't have enough soap on here when you go to pipe, the pressure from your piping bag will move these around, so you need enough soap on there that it's going to hold it still. So again, we're going to do some of the 5-leaf petals. So I've got the narrow end up towards the top, and I'm going to start by squeezing and pushing up and making a C shape, and I'm going to do that 5 times to create my base one, and at the same time I'm turning my flower nail in my hand rather than trying to move my piping bag. It's much easier to do the flower nail twist. Just going to add some smaller ones in the top here, and then we'll add in our little center. Let's see if we can get you at a better angle. There goes a rather noisy motorbike by the shop there. Okay, let's see if we can do this for you. So I'm going to again start with my little C shape. I'm going to push, squeeze and push up, and at the same time I'm twisting the nail in my fingers underneath, and that's our base layer. Then I'm going to pull my bag up a little bit to do the next one, and I'm kind of putting these petals where the crossover seam is of my bottom one, like so. Oh, and then we're going to grab our green. I'm just going to give it a little squeeze in the middle. Oh, and there we have it, another poppy. Alright, so our poppies are all piped, ready to go on the soap. I've got my oil and my lye water down to temperature, and I have measured my fragrance oil out, and as suspected I have just enough to make my small loaf of soap. Now, based on the fact that it says it accelerates, which might not do in my recipe, but we're going to work with it anyway, I'm going to do layers. On the bottom, I'm going to use that same yellow color that I piped my poppies with. It's just called dark yellow. It was from a company that started up a few years ago. I got their micas in to try and really wasn't impressed. I ended up throwing out most of them except for this dark yellow, which actually does color the soap, just not as dark as it looks like it should. Then what we'll do is a mica line with some extravagance gold just to bring that sunshine in, and then on the top, so our poppies stand out, we're going to do this cerulean blue, which I'm hopefully going to do a drop swirl of some titanium dioxide through it as well. We're going to get on to making this. I'm going to set this to music. As I said before, I have got neighbours moving in next door. She's got the painters in, and I can hear they've just started playing music next door. So we're going to have to really rethink about how we start doing these videos again. I have been so spoilt for the last year. But we're going to set this to music, get it going, and get sunshine poppies made. So there it is, Sunshine Poppies is in the mold, and I'm so excited for this because that behaved really, really well. It stayed so fluid. I poured that bottom layer and I had to wait about 4 minutes before it was firm enough to do a textured top. I decided last minute to do that sort of pointy textured top to kind of represent sunshine rays as well before coating it in that mica. But yeah, I did have to wait a while, but that also meant we should get some beautiful wispy white clouds through that blue. Gonna leave this one to set up overnight. We'll be back in just a moment and we'll cut it open and take a look on the inside. So it's the next day and this has set up beautifully. Loving the colors on here as well. Let's get this cut open. Ida has developed a little bit of a squeak. I might need to put a little bit of WD-40 onto the hinges. Not that it really matters, but yeah, she's got a little bit squeaky. All right, let's cut through. Got a couple of end pieces here and thunk, there she goes. I'll get rid of my end pieces and then show you inside. All right, so let's start from the end. Oh, isn't that pretty? Really, really like how that's come together. So impressed that this didn't accelerate on me and stayed quite fluid. So we were able to get a little bit of a design in there. Love that mica line. It's come up so thick and rich. It's real difficult to get those mica lines where you can actually see them and so that your soap doesn't fall apart where that mica line is, but I seem to have got it just perfect on this one today. Really love the colors and it smells so good as well. It's one of those sort of really unique smells where you have to keep going back to have a smell of it and you smell something different each and every time. So really, really happy with this one. So huge thank you to Megan for actually donating this fragrance into the pack for the Australian Soaping and Candle Conference. Don't forget it is going to be happening again in 2024. I'll leave some links down in the description box for the conference page. You can attend both physically and virtually. If you are virtual, you don't get the gift packs because it's a little bit hard for Rhonda to send them throughout the world, but you still do get lots of great information, and I highly recommend if you can't go in person, go to it virtually as well. So there we have it. There is my Sunshine and Poppies soap. I hope you have enjoyed coming along with me as I made this one. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up, any comments down below, and until the next video, have a good one and I will see you then. Bye.